A YouTuber named Alex Becker is now worth over $100 million. And the reason may surprise you.
I have agreed to have my company acquired for, based on this article, $110 million.
He didn't get rich from his YouTube channel selling online courses or some sexy online strategy. He did it selling a boring ad spend attribution company for $110 million. One you've probably never heard of and wouldn't remember if you saw it. My name is Abdul Faruqi. I've scaled multiple businesses and my companies are generating over $50 million in sales. And I'm about to teach you how Alex created a $100 million company from scratch in just 3.5 years. No gimmicks, no paid courses, just real advice. You can spend hundreds of hours trying to study Alex's strategy like we did, or you could just watch this video. I'm about to show you 5 steps how he did this. I know this because we're currently doing the same thing with Max.ai, an AI that has one-on-one conversations with both your prospects as well as your customers to help you rapidly scale your business, especially for coaches and creators. So, how did Alex create a $100 million company? Let's get into it. Step 1, find a boring problem. Let's pull back from strategy and business for a second and focus on you. If you're listening to me just to make a quick buck, you're not gonna do that well. I'm sorry, but it's true because you have the wrong focus. Something Alex and I understand is that money doesn't really make you happy. What makes you happy is having a purpose. And if you aren't working with purpose and don't enjoy the process, you'll hate it. You really think if you hate something, you're gonna be tough enough to spend years constructing something that makes you miserable? Think again.
If you don't find fulfillment and purpose from what you're doing, it's almost impossible to hit those levels. People look at Bill Gates, they see him working 15, 16-hour days. You see people like Elon Musk doing the same, you think either something's wrong with them or they just have something you do. No, they just have purpose. Anybody's capable of doing that.
Sure, money's always going to be a good yardstick, a means to get to your goals. Aim for $1 million, 10 million, go ahead. But don't let it become your be-all and end-all. It's not just about the greenbacks, it's about your personal growth, your evolution. That is the real game. Now, in order to do well in business, you need one thing: customers. People that will buy from you. You can have buyers that barely have a penny to spend, or you can have buyers that have a good chunk of disposable income. And guess what? Who are some of the best buyers? Businesses. Specifically, affluent businesses earning at least $250,000 a year. This is where you can charge up to $50,000 per year per customer you acquire. So you might be watching this and wondering, what kind of businesses should you target? As a rule of thumb, you're most qualified to help the people you used to be. You see, Alex was an influencer and sold courses before starting his company, Hyros. He understood ad spend attribution was a major pain point in the market, which basically means course creators and e-commerce brands didn't have an accurate way of tracking which campaigns their sales came from or which touch points led to a sale. What was happening was most business owners were flying blind. They would spend millions of dollars on advertising, on multiple campaigns, and on multiple ad platforms like YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. When a buyer took multiple touch points before buying, the typical Google Analytics setup did not allow you to accurately track the buyer's journey and which campaigns were bringing in a higher return on investment. And being able to track this meant better visibility on ad spend and that coaches and e-commerce companies could ultimately make a higher return on every dollar they spend on ads. So Alex doubled down on that pain point. And he turned a boring problem into a gold mine for himself. You need to find customers with a big pain point. Don't fall into the trap of inventing a problem or selling stuff no one really wants. These companies aren't stupid. Find an existing problem they face and bring a boring solution no one else is thinking about. The objective is to complement their existing operations and become irreplaceable. Companies like Zoom, Slack, and Alex's company, Hyros, are a core part of the business process and connect to an obvious result without them having to change anything about their company. They make money or they save money for the end user. Research, brainstorm, and dig for a problem you can solve. After you figure out some problems you could solve, then move on to step 2, focused build. After narrowing a pain point for a market with disposable income, now it's time to build. But build something with a narrow focus. The narrower the focus, the better you can build. Alex's company could have had 10 different features and tried to be an improved version of Google Analytics, but he narrowed on one big pain point and went all in on that. He didn't lose focus. Most businesses don't die from starvation, they die from ingestion, meaning they take on so much that they don't do a good job at anything. Don't add bells and whistles. Focus on one core problem. Not only will it be cheaper to develop, but your sales and marketing will be much more impactful. Be a laser, not a shotgun. Once you've got a focused product, you need your first customers. And this is where most people trip up. How do you succeed even if you have no idea how to get new clients? You want to build the best product and experience possible with social proof surrounding it. You do all of this to create superfans. Secure customers by offering them special deals and making the process a complete dream. Okay, so remember how Hyros was worth $50,000 a month for the right person? For your first few clients, give them a no-brainer. Charge just a fraction of the value your product brings. So if you're charging $2,000 a month, your product should be bringing $20,000 a month of value to them. This will create retention. If they're a celebrity or have some clout, give it to them for free if you have to. That brand validation is more valuable right now. Don't worry so much about the cash flow. You see, most new entrepreneurs, they make the mistake of starting with smaller businesses and they have very low prices, but instead go for the whales first. If you had the option, would you rather have some nobody using your software, or would you have a celebrity or Tony Robbins? That's what Alex did, and he leveraged the heck out of that in his branding.
Why thousands of businesses, 6, 7, 8, and even 9-figure businesses use Hyros because we deliver that so much we can actually guarantee it. That's why big brands like ClickFunnels, Frank Kern, Tom Bilyeu's Impact Theory, Dan Henry, Lady Boss, one of the largest e-com agencies in the world, Shopanova, large SaaS companies like Samcart, Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi's Mastermind.com.
Build up testimonials of dream customers so your product will have validation. This will make things so much easier when you can say things like, Tony Robbins uses my product. The most important thing here is building your brand. Don't worry about cash flow. You need to give these customers the best customer experience possible. Don't let anyone ruin your reputation. The money will always come. Right now, your brand, your product, and your social proof is everything. So by now you have a small collection of tier 1 customers. You're starting to build a reputation and you're growing your network. What now? How do you take this brand from a small fish into a big fish? It's probably not what you think. Step 3 is remove friction. Here, you need to remove all buyer friction. You're focused on a solution, but a customer doesn't want to pay for your product if it's hard to use. You see, Hyros is a complex product to implement. It takes expertise. So instead of a self-onboarding process, Alex turned it into a done for you, where his team sets it up for the client. If your clients are finding that dashboard hard to navigate, get on top of that right away. Make it easier to understand, provide more help, tutorials, and guides for your clients. Don't let customers be unhappy. It's just too big of a risk. We were one of the beta users of Hyros, and I remember Alex even started a group chat with him and his development team with our team in there, and he was there himself making sure we were taken care of. So do everything you can to make the customer support process timely and effective. So many companies suck at customer support, but this is the difference between duds and $100 million studs. Studs study the complaints, the support tickets, the refunds. They see it as a treasure trove of insights and use that info to build $100 million companies. So keep asking, how can you serve your customers better with your product? Be boring, unattractive, and efficient. Alex had other competitors that never made it this big. Why? Was it because he was the first one? No, it was because their process had too much friction. They made the customer jump through too many hoops. Your process needs to be amazing for what you're going to do next. Keep taking notes because this is when things get big. Step number 4, take ground. This is where you go from a small fish to a massive fish very quickly. You already have amazing testimonials, you already have an amazing product, and a seamless onboarding process. You've landed on the beach, now it's time to storm the country. This is war, but you can't win a war without a strategy. So you want to gain a lot of market share. Claim that space as yours. Raise your prices and figure out your floor and peak. You can throw out hard prices to new clients to see how they react and point to the results that you've consistently delivered for your customers. You've already got the proof, you've already got the testimonials. There's going to be a sweet spot that each business will pay. You just have to find it. These big businesses don't swap software very easily. And obviously you want to acquire more and more customers in this niche by leveraging the results you've already delivered. Show your prospects how much money you've generated for other businesses or how much you've saved them. So Hyros settled on a strategic pay-per-use pricing model. The more revenue the company tracks, the more money it charges. Great way to make more if you make more. All right, now things are looking good. Don't fly out to Bahamas just because you've started making some moolah. You're gonna need to start using that cash flow and start scaling with, you guessed it, ads. Ads are great for scaling. When we were spending $1 million a month on ads, I remember thinking I was the big dog in town, only to find out some of these software companies spend millions of dollars every week. So Alex also ran ads. The great thing is when you have a defined market, you can run very targeted ads for your target market. For example, he ran this ad for e-commerce and this one for course owners. And then he had each of them go through their specific funnel. Each customer avatar went through their tailor-made marketing experience. Most software companies don't market to that degree. But because Alex had a direct response background, he was able to leverage that to bring the most bang for his buck from his marketing spend. But when you expand, you're going to experience something all growing businesses face. You need to be prepared for this because it hits every CEO like a brick, and they're never prepared for it. Growth pain. When you rapidly recruit employees or adopt new systems, you can slip up and deliver a bad experience to your clients. Maybe with the rapid demand or being spread too thin, you didn't provide enough training to someone in your sales team. And as a consequence, they failed to maintain that amazing customer service you were known for. They miss some calls or have a long response time. Because of this growth pain, your customers have had a bad experience. They go to a competitor and these negative impressions start to circulate through the word of mouth. You can't have that. Now when you're gaining momentum, have a plan for when things take off and how you're going to combat growth pains. It's crucial you don't let this affect your momentum. Once you're here, you can finally begin moving into the final step. It may be the furthest away, but we're planning long-term, and step 5 is a lesson you'll need for the future. Step 5, double down. It's at this stage that you're making the big bucks. Remember when I said not to worry about cash flow? This is why. Money will be pouring in as you have a breadth of clients who are all paying you large sums every month. Cash flow here will be abundant and lucrative, especially in the software game. You'll start to draw the eyes of massive players who've noticed the rate of your growth and will probably start throwing around some offers for acquisition. Investors want one thing because they know it's king, but you're not going to let it go so easily without an impressive payout. This is what the entire strategy has been building towards: equity. Equity is how you make the big bucks, and it's why you have strictly focused on brand and not cash flow. Your brand now is so valuable and so lucrative that people will pay millions for it. So how do we get our company from 10 or 20 million to 100 million? You need to start reinvesting and do it aggressively. You've got a lot of cash flow, you've already done all the grunt work, and the biggest mistake you could make now is call it a day. You want to take that cash flow and reinvest it into the business. This is to accelerate the momentum you've already spent years building. Reinvest and grow your company. Grow your marketing campaigns and scale your teams. Instead of having $4,000 monthly spent, move that to $80,000 on ads every single month. You want to accelerate your growth with the money you're making. After spending time reinvesting, scaling, and improving your product, when you're going to be done, it's going to be the time to sell. 80 million, 100 billion. These numbers might sound unrealistic, but it's possible. That's what Hyros has shown us. With the right product, the right market, Hyros grew its monthly recurring revenue from 0 to over $1.1 million a month in just 4 years. At 10x multiple, it was acquired at $110 million. You might be watching this and wondering, when do I decide to exit? Simple answer, right before your vision for it is no longer the biggest vision, and someone else's vision exceeds the vision that you have for your company. That's when you sell. For example, in Hyros' case, Alex had a vision to create a $100 million company, but the company that acquired Hyros, they want to turn that $100 million to a $1 billion company. You can stay on board as a CEO if you like, or place in a new CEO and move on to your next project with the skills you've gained through this journey. None of the things I've said are easy, but if something is easy, it's not worth doing. And if you leave this video remembering just one thing, let it be this. Success doesn't come focusing on cash flow or looking to get rich, but building something useful and enjoying the process. That's how Alex did it, and that's the motto we have with all of our portfolio companies. It's about the process. If you found this insightful, inspiring, or helpful in any way, I want you to like and subscribe to this channel. The more subscribers I get, the more research and resources I can put into making these wonderful videos about business and about acquiring assets. So you can also create and acquire assets just like Alex did. Hope you enjoyed this one. Take care. Salam.